have to get our country open, and we have to get it open soon. That's me and Corona. That's me in the spotlight, abusing my position. Trying to blame Chinese food, and I don't care if you have caught it. Oh no, I said too much. Fuck it up. I thought that I heard you coughing. I thought that I heard you wheeze. I think I'm at the old folks' die.
I'm pretty sure you did, dude. There's no think in that, especially when it comes to him. Welcome, everyone, back to the Fox Den Tavern and to another, hopefully, wonderful episode of Drunk Upon a Time. We've got a few guys running late, but hopefully we will be joined by Uncie Keenan and Chris midway, maybe a little, somewhere in between. In the meantime, I want to thank everybody that showed up on time. Because you gotta twist people's arms to get them to come drink with you. What the fuck?
For once I'm on time, I'm usually kind of tardy to things.
So of course, I guess we've got some Drunk Upon a Time originals back with us. OGs, as in Knucklehead Aaron at the top of my screen. Who knows if it'll be there on the recording? Hi, Aaron. Hope you're high, Aaron.
I am high, Aaron.
All right, off to a great start. And of course, we have the lovely ladies of Drunk Upon a Time, my wonderful wife, Kathy.
Hello.
And the one and only Latina Heat, the co-host of Top Rope Wrestling Talk, my homegirl, Grandma Wendy.
What's up, bitches?
All right, no cool cats and kittens this week. I'm digging that.
Hey there, motherfuckers.
What up, fool? Oh, so cute. But yeah, we have some stuff planned for you. Unfortunately, most of that stuff was not planned without a full crew, but we're gonna try.
Okay. Try to make lemonade with these lemons.
Yeah, we're gonna just take those lemons, squeeze them, put them in some mixed drinks, maybe make some Long Island iced teas by the end of the show. You don't know. You gotta stick around to find out.
Some vodka in them.
So, if nobody minds, I'm gonna start with video of the week because Jesus fucking Christ! And no, it was not our president. It's always so that's a given. We're gonna move on to somebody else. When this whole quarantine began, there was a woman who did a TikTok video about calling it a coronavirus challenge, where she recorded herself licking a fucking toilet.
See, yeah, I saw. Okay, so explain that to me because I didn't really look at that.
I'm trying. I gotta hold it back at the same time, so forgive me.
So disgusting.
So people, and I'm not gonna say they're probably stupid too, but people actually took this as a coronavirus challenge, started licking toilets. I think one 17-year-old actually died. Allegedly. I had read some stuff. You never know with Google. And then after this had blown up and people on The View are giving this woman grief and people all over the media is going crazy, she came back and explained that, oh, well, it was a clean toilet on a private plane of one of my sugar daddies.
You're still licking a toilet. I don't give a fuck. Yeah. That's nasty.
Mm-hmm.
A, you're still licking a toilet.
You're
and
incentivizing other people to fucking do it. It's not a good thing.
That was just what I was about to say. And most importantly, C, you might have actually killed somebody with this shit. So as far as I'm concerned, and I'm not going to say her name, even though I know it, you are a fucking idiot. And anybody that did it is too, but it all came from you. So you were the biggest fucking idiot involved in the situation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm glad you live your life licking your way to the upper middle, because it's probably not the worst thing you licked to get some attention or your rent paid or whatever the fuck else when you're talking about sugar daddies and shit.
Mm-hmm.
There's also those kids that had all those coronavirus parties and they would put on TikTok. There was one video I saw from TikTok where one girl had a lollipop in her mouth, and then she passed it to the guy behind her, and they just kept passing it to the person behind them, and it was all kinds of gross. Some of them were just kind of like, others were like making out with the lollipop and just passing it on.
It's just so goddamn stupid. Like, I understand there are some things that you take lightly, and we take a lot of things lightly on this show. When there is a virus being spread around that is killing tens of thousands of people in this country.
Yep.
You don't take that shit lightly. I know a lot of people think they can because there are a lot of states that there are a few states that have opened. There are some that are planning to open, and you just see people, like, especially around us, that are just out because they don't have anything to do and they're sick of being at home. And it's like, that's great, but at the same time, the shit ain't going away. I know people want to pretend like it doesn't exist, but it ain't going away.
Yep.
Why the fuck are you out?
Had the jets flying over, the Blue Angels or whatever, I live within walking distance of DC. I could literally, 10-15 minutes, I'm in DC walking, right? Why are there so many people in my neighborhood, no face masks, no precautions of any kind, just walking around willy-nilly, crossing the street at any part, not even like at a crosswalk, just whatever they want, and then yelling at me when I'm in my car trying to get somewhere because I have to drop Jose off because he's an essential worker.
Right.
And these ones are just out and about, baby strollers, like it's any other day.
Yeah.
I'm like, go home.
Yeah.
Go the fuck home. And none of them were from my neighborhood.
And
not a single person. All of them.
And none of the essential
from
places.
Maryland and other parts of Virginia. I'm like, leave.
I see so many tourist plates around here from states, and some of them are far away. Like Wyoming the other day. I'm like, why the fuck are you here? Like, how many states did you drive through to get here?
Like, you realize it's not open right now, right? You're gonna go to fucking Busch Gardens, and it's not open. So go home, Wyoming. Go home.
More like, I mean, but even the essential places, like, you can't go in a grocery store. People just don't pay attention. You know, I try to do my best because, unfortunately, I've got a kid with me. You know, like, I'm home with him. I've got to get stuff, so I'm going to the store. So if I see somebody in front of me where I've got to be, I just kind of keep my distance. I wait for them to go, and then I go get whatever I need to get. Well, in the meantime, I've got 3-4 people, like, either up my ass or running around me, and I'm pulling back and somebody else is pulling it. So, like, I can't keep my distance because if I do, 3 or 4 people are going to jump in and I'm going to be 6 inches away from them instead of 6 fucking feet. I know. And it's like,
the social distancing shit is just creating more fucking idiots than anything else.
It really
is. Stupid behavior.
It really, truly is. It's like, you know, I hope that you end up getting sick because you were too busy running up somebody's ass in front of me that was sick while I was back here doing what I was supposed to fucking do.
Yeah, and the thing is that people don't realize they can be asymptomatic or just be carriers of the virus and not even know. So
I know, it's turned into a Walking Dead. Like, we all have it.
So, I saw something that was like, it's basically like this virus is like Pavlov's virus. There's a chance you have it. There's a chance you don't have it, but you won't know unless you're tested. But they're not really testing.
No.
So,
right.
And they tell you, behave as if you do, but behave as if you don't. It's Pavlov's virus. We do, don't. Just live your life safely with a mask. Go wash your hands.
Yeah, just hope that you end up okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because even if you aren't, there's no way to find out. So just good luck. Like, really? I'm glad I didn't fill out that census. Fuck y'all.
I have my idiot of the week.
Oh, do you now?
I do.
Okay, well, before, I'm sorry, give that 1 second,
sorry.
because I almost forgot. When it comes to toilet licking, sugar daddy having thought, you like, not cool. Okay, now that that's out of the way, go ahead, give us your idiot of the week.
Right. Well, mine is kind of related to the whole COVID-19 thing. And
what else is there?
Yeah, pretty much. My another example of idiot of the week is this client, not my client, but my job's customer, I guess, saying how over the phone she thinks this whole virus thing is ridiculous, and that she has a mask, but she wears it on top of her head. So she doesn't think she has to wear one and all of that. What the fuck? This is why people keep spreading this virus around. Yeah, exactly.
What are you,
The face.
5?
I don't want to. I'm not gonna wear it. Like, what the
Have a
hell?
baked potato for a brain?
See,
Pretty much.
here's the problem, people. We had this whole I don't know, decade, 2 decades, generations of entitled assholes that grew up being told they were special and everything is different for them, and they're all just special little idiots. And then something like this happens and everybody thinks they're a special little idiot that can't get it because they're a special little idiot. And then you're going to end up a special little dead idiot, and it'll basically clean out a couple of generations. I don't know what the fuck. I'm just saying, maybe, you know, maybe all this participation trophy shit, maybe all this every child is special shit for like 20, 30 some odd years, since like I watched my sister's kids grow up and I was a teenager. Like, are you fucking kidding me? You know, maybe, just maybe, if we didn't do that, we wouldn't have all this bullshit sticking around. Maybe, just maybe, when everything opens up, we need to just let smoking sections back into restaurants, stop bitching and
Yes!
commercials. Because let me ask you something. All this shit about you can't smoke around me, we have to protect the air, we have to protect our lungs. What do we have now? A virus. What does that virus attack?
On top of what? Motherfucker, you're gonna tell me that you're not happy taking the goddamn taxes from my cigarettes? Like,
So don't smoke, don't vape. But when we get a fucking pandemic that attacks your respiratory system, we're all going to go out and lick toilets and get as close as we can to strangers so that we fuck up our lungs and die. Fuck you. Bring back smoking sections. We lived a lot longer.
I did see a guy who had like a little hole cut in his mask for a cigarette.
That's something Dom would do. I could see that.
Oh yeah.
Or have like a red light and
flap
or something.
I'd have a little flap that I could pull up, smoke my cigarette, put back down, blow it out my nose.
That's a lot more. I was at a red light and I look at the bus stop and the guy is just mask on and I see him just pull up a cigarette through a little hole and just
that whole mask. The whole mask that I had would look like a bull, so I'd pull the flap up, take a smoke. When I blow it out my nose, it'll come out the bull's nose.
I have a thought. I have a serious thought. Fuck the whole putting. Yeah, fuck putting a piece of plastic or a paper over your goddamn mouth and hoping that the cotton makes a fucking difference. Because I don't know. Personally, I don't think it's going to make that much of a fucking difference. If this little filter on a cigarette like kind of turns yellow after every time I take a puff, then yeah. So why don't we just save everyone 5 fucking steps? Install like a snowmobile helmet like thing onto your fucking head, so that the government can keep track of exactly how many breaths you have, and every single one can filter out all the shit. And I don't know. I think that's the fairest way of being taxed.
I just think it's so crazy.
That might work in Canada, but that won't work here.
And I like that.
Oh, it absolutely would.
Freedom!
They're trying to
America! Liberty!
America!
Put taxes on our wells.
My free dick!
if you're gonna vote a person in who tries to tell you that coronavirus doesn't exist, if you're gonna run around and bitch about people vaping and smoking, and then you can't keep away from each other when there's a respiratory virus around, just cut, start over, bring back smoking sections. Fuck it, legalize weed. And I don't mean here and there and everywhere. I mean everywhere.
Everyone will know you're clear.
And if you don't like it, hey, maybe you can stay home.
And the thing is like with the people, the clients at my job, they're pretty much all elderly, and barely any of them wear masks. Like, first of all, you're not supposed to be coming out,
right? Just
to get your dog groomed. And then 2, you're not even taking any kind of precaution.
Yeah, at least take the precaution. That's what I mean. People just don't give a fuck. They just go out like nothing has changed, because they've got this idea that like, oh, it's not going to happen to me. But yeah, it'll happen to fucking you and you and you and you. And that's the reason why we're on like week 9 or 10 of a goddamn quarantine, because people didn't listen in the fucking first place. And now they're all fed up like, oh, well, I did my part. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. And yes, maybe the government should have had more testing and more treatment centers or whatever, or, you know, provide a little bit more. That's neither here nor there. But at the same time, like, they told you what to do. You didn't do it. Then you got upset because you thought you did it. So now you're out and about doing whatever the fuck you want without taking precautions. And this virus is circulating still because of people like you. Meanwhile, my happy ass
like Maryland,
just sits in here and I'm healthy. But I'm healthy, smoking my ass off, and you're dying of a respiratory infection. Ain't that a bitch?
In fucking Maryland, Governor Hogan was like, okay, fine, we'll lift the stay-at-home order, blah, 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 phase 1, phase that, and the third. Why is everyone now like, oh, you just want us to risk our lives, blah, blah. But y'all didn't stay home.
Isn't that what you wanted in the first place?
Home.
Yeah.
Isn't that what you wanted in the first place? Now you got it, and now you don't fucking want it.
Bitches just don't want to go back to work. That's all that fucking is. I'm like, well, tough titty. Tough fucking titty.
Yep.
Spend a 13-hour day every day with an autistic kid, and you will want to go back to work. Ask me how I know. I'm just saying, love him, adore him, but ask me how I know.
Your school's to reopen, but it's already the end of the year.
That's all right. They got summer schools. Take the kid, please, please. Daddy needs a break. But yeah, okay, that client of your jobs, not yours, would be a big one.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. I swear to God, I almost took a picture of a random stranger at a grocery store because she was like the withered old person with like the short gray curly hair, like this giant mask on her head that barely covered her eyes. I almost took a picture of her so I could put the Walking Dead background in. She looked like a fucking zombie. Like I thought about shooting her in the head. I'm not gonna lie.
You know what cracks me up in grocery stores? People have the mask on, but then they'll just kind of like slightly remove it a little bit, like, oh, let me taste the grapes, see if they're fresh, or like, be on the phone, oh, can you hear me better now, or just anything.
Yeah.
You know what? I already know Aaron's going to name himself Idiot of the Week, and I can't let him do that because he's been such a contributor so far. He's really stepping his game up tonight. I can't let him do it. So I'm going to move on to a story, but I think I've already had like bad stories. Oh, wait.
You're gonna love this. You're gonna love this. I'll still be able to nominate myself for Idiot of the Week. I think back to when I was a kid. And you know how kids do stupid shit, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
Yep. It comes with the territory.
But they're special.
Yeah, of course. So I was one of those kids that, just to say when my parents are off doing stuff and I was with them or whatnot, I just kind of explored, do whatever. I remember, though, as a kid, when I'd sit underneath the tables and just, again, little kid, didn't know better, grabbed a piece of gum and started chewing.
Oh no.
So past Aaron, I guess, like it's called a kid Idiot of the Week, but
Kidiot, there we go.
More of just naive, not knowing any better.
I mean, it's just that kind of stuff happens. Like I had a bunch of older half siblings growing up, and I went down in the living room after I had a snack. I was about 6 years old, and I'm sitting there watching TV, and on the floor I see this little white thing, and I don't know what it is. So I pick it up. It turns out it's a roach from my sister's joint. Yeah. My mom's coming in the room as I'm going, Man, she slapped the shit out of me to get that joint out of my hand before it hit my mouth. So yeah, I was a kitty myself. I'm like, a roach. Yum yum.
Yeah.
Okay, but yeah, when I was in my teenage years, I might have done that too. That was like someone left a roach here for me the day after a party. Thank you.
Everybody does or eats roach at one point when they grow up, but I was like barely 6, and I was just like, looks good to me.
Oh shit! Although I am remembering now, a couple of years ago when I was working, I was standing at the bus stop, and I have this habit of half smoking cigarettes. We still had snowbanks at the time, and depending on whether or not there are actually ashtrays out in, just put your fucking butt in the snowbank. So I outed the cigarette halfway in the snowbank. Mm-hmm. I turn as I'm getting on the bus. I see out of the corner of my eye this girl picking up the butt and walking away.
I've seen people do that,
and that's how you get Rona.
And herpes.
Well, I do have a good story because we've been doing this for a while now, and I don't know if this has happened to any of you guys, but I almost felt famous. I was at a place, ordered some coffee, and they don't have like they have the every 6 feet, and then you get your coffee, and they have like a small patio outside, but they've got the tables pushed like way far away, like 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting. This is one of the days where I actually, I got away from my child because my wife was home. So it was like, "Do you want to get out?" "Yes, I do." So I'm just sitting there. I'm outside. I'm drinking my coffee. I'm smoking a cigarette, and I'm playing on my phone. 6 feet away is a woman, and she's watching something on her phone. Like, got headphones in, watching. I'm not really paying attention. As I'm finishing my cigarette, I go to put it out. She looks up, sees me, looks back down at her phone, looks back up, looks back down, looks back up, looks back down. All of a sudden, I hear, "Holy shit, are you dumb?" I'm like, who's asking? Because I'm not used to this. This has not happened to me very much. I'm weirded out. I'm like, yeah. And she's like, "Oh my God, I'm watching your show right now. I love Drug Upon a Time." Or whatever. I was like, "Wow, really?" She's like, "Yeah, do you mind if I pick your brain a little bit? Like, I'll keep my distance." I was like,
I'll buy you a drink.
Someone
she's like-
recognized you from Drunk Upon a
Kathy all
Time?
bitter.
I was just, no, because I said,
Bitch.
no, I did. I said to her, "Well, I was just finishing my coffee. I was about to head home." And she's like, "I'll buy you another one. Can I just pick your brain a little bit?" And I'm like, free coffee?
Ooh, you'll excuse me real quick. I'm gonna.
Yes. So she gets my coffee. We sit down. She starts asking me little questions like, "How'd you come up with the idea for this? What did you do here?" And she's a relatively attractive woman. Like, she kind of had a slight resemblance to Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, like red hair, kind of had the face, body.
I got the call early this week, so I got to run.
Oh, no way.
Oh,
I know. Sorry, you guys. But I will be back next week, as always.
okay.
Okay, I'm sorry about this, you guys.
It's okay.
All right, Kathy, you and me next weekend, we're gonna go on a beating bitches up journey. Socially distanced, of course, but we will beat bitches up. We're like, "Oh my God, are you dumb?" Yeah, we'll teach them a fucking lesson. But until then, I will see you guys. Don't drink the bong water, Aaron. Can't hear me. Okay, bye, you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, I'm trying to think where I was. Yeah, like, it was semi-attractive woman, but like, I've got my ring on. I'm not like throwing any game or anything. I'm just sitting there answering her questions because she's asked me about like, "Oh, how'd you come up with Drunk Upon a Time?" or "How'd you come up with this nickname from this wrestling show?" or whatever. I'm like, "Wow, you watch everything. That's cool." And
Is
as
someone who lives nearby you?
yeah, like, apparently in the area somewhere, because like I said, I was just sitting out, and as soon as I put my cigarette out, like, in an ashtray, she literally recognized me on my phone, looked up, like, checked it, and said, "Oh my God, you're dumb," and started asking me questions, and I'm cool with that, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she just like she's wearing a dress, and she gives me like the Sharon Stone leg cross, and I'm like, "Oh." Like, it's 80 something and I get it, but you're not wearing underwear. Oh shit. Like, all of a sudden this is going from I'm a fan to
I'm a groupie.
I guess, if that's what you call them these days. I don't know. I'm old. So I'm just like, "Hey, thanks. I gotta go, but it was nice meeting you and everything." And she's like, "Oh, well, can I get your picture?" Like, I don't think so. I don't want to. And the whole time, the look.
Next time you see me, you give me a beer, and then you get your picture. That's
Right.
how it works.
Like, maybe you buy me a beer, so I don't know. I was just, it was like, it was one of those weird moments because, like, I've never had that whole thing where, like, somebody recognizes me because I'm, like, on YouTube or whatever the fuck, and comes running up to me, and then, like, all of a sudden, like,
Throws themselves at you.
it not really throws, but just offers that extra level of, like, I'm a fan, and I'm just like, I don't know what to do. Like, no, because no, and I get I'm laughing because I get home and I tell her, and this is the face, just stone cold murder. I'm like, I didn't do anything though. She's like, that bitch.
I trust you. I don't trust her.
I'll get that bitch. I didn't do anything.
I'm going to find her.
But it was cool that somebody actually, recognized me. I always thought if someone was going to recognize me, it would be a dude, because we do like predominantly dude shows. Here's a show about drinking and funny shit. Here's a show about wrestling. Here's a show about nerd shit. That's predominantly dudes. I never expected like some, good-looking girl who was probably 10 years younger than me to be like, yes, so, I was like, wow, the power of YouTube. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, that was semi good times. So we got Idiot of the Week out of the way, and we got all this shit. And I'm trying to figure out exactly where the hell we're gonna go from here, because I had some topics. Unfortunately, those topics evolved the group, which is non-existent.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say, I was holding it for Chris because he had brought it up in the relaunch, but there was the question was, well, not the question, but it was brought up like we had mentioned Michelle Pfeiffer, and he had said, oh, we need to go through and discuss women that are just hot no matter what, like women that have been around.
Selma Hayek,
still hot, like her.
Yes,
exactly.
Sophia Loren.
That was going to be my answer too. You guys. Wow, you guys are making this show quick. It's like, that's all right. Good night.
No, there's plenty more.
I can't think of one at this point.
It's one of the happiest things I can think of is that video of Selma Hayek playing with puppies.
Yeah. Yeah, she's always been hot. Like, she's just And Sophia Loren, that's true too. Like, even when I saw her like grumpier old men and she was like in her 60s, I was like,
yeah, she was like in her 70s.
Yeah, somewhere in there, I just thought, yeah, I'll still hit it. I don't know if it's really because she's hot or because she's awesome, but Betty White, like, she was hot back in the day, but like even now,
she's awesome.
I'd probably just be like, let me break a hip. I'm
trying to think of who else.
I mean, we can let it marinate because we do have a few other things. Like, for instance, the first season of this show under Revo Geek, we started talking about putting together a drunken Hall of Fame. And I think the one and only person we added to that Hall of Fame was Charlie Sheen. And obviously does more than drinking, but he's kind of known for his benders. He walked around on a very famous show for almost a decade with some kind of glass of something on the rocks in his hand, like every episode.
He has tiger blood. He's from Mars. He's a warlock.
Mm-hmm.
He is why we have the MIB. And I guess what I'm wondering is, like, should we add, who else could we add to the Drunken Hall of Fame? Because Charlie Sheen has got to be lonely, and the dude likes to party. So I got to be honest. I'm going to slip into the music. Well, kind of music, kind of acting, kind of old school. But you know what? Frank Sinatra. That motherfucker was a synonymous drinker. Like, he would be doing shows with a glass in his hand, and if it emptied, somebody would come out and like pour more whatever he was drinking that night, whiskey, whatever, drop rocks in it, and he would just keep drinking, smoking a cigarette, doing his show.
I feel bad not having a drink to say it, but John Bonham.
Yes. Rock God.
Talk about alcohol problems.
Maybe, yes, but definitely a known drinker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we got a couple of nominees. I'm trying to think.
Do they have to be alive?
Why? Who did you have in mind?
Amy Winehouse.
I think she was more of a.
No, she was.
Was she a drinker? I thought she was more of a drug addict.
No, it was alcohol. It was
Okay.
alcohol poisoning.
But
But she drank heavily, and that's how she got there. Because she always drank a lot.
She could be a nominee. You know, I think Sinatra's a shoe-in. I think Bonham, yeah, even though he had, you know, it. I don't want to make this a sad thing,
Excuse
like,
me.
oh, he's a great drinker, but he was an alcoholic. Fuck.
Cool. Yeah.
Like, we can practically put the whole Rat Pack in the way they used to drink and party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you could say, you put me and the guys in high school back in there
Right,
as well.
like
So,
me and my. Then we can add me and my crew from high school of just flunkies and knuckleheads.
Think back to those days, and I think back to I remember what a hangover felt like.
I'm still trying. I can't. The last time I had a hangover, I probably wasn't old enough to drink.
I think last time I had a hangover, I was drinking champagne or something like that. Like, it was just something I wouldn't usually find myself drinking, and it just knocked me on my ass.
Yeah, that'll do it.
It's one of those ones where I woke
It's
up the next
usually
day and kind of
something-
decided I'm not going to do that again because I'm getting too old. My joints are fucking aching.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually something you don't regularly drink that gives you the worst fucking hangover, especially if you go ham with it. Like, you know, way back, probably before I was 21, I'm at a house party, and there was like a gallon bottle of what was it, Goldschlager, if you've heard of that. If you haven't, it's like a cinnamon schnapps with like gold flake in it. And somebody, I don't remember who, somebody had dared me to drink the entire bottle within like an hour. And I was like, I don't think so. And he started offering money. And at first it was like $20. I'm like, I ain't fucking stupid. And then the rest of the party gets together and they start throwing money in. And the next thing I know, there's like $1,000 on the table. And now I don't know if I can do this, but I could sure as shit use $1,000. So I was like, all right, challenge accepted. Fuck it. And I start drinking this shit, and it is awful. Like, I've got gold flakes stuck in my teeth. It tastes like shit, but I keep drinking because there's $1,000 on the line. You know, like, fuck that. I need this money. And I keep drinking. I get down to the final, like, 15 minutes. I've got this much of the gallon left. I'm like, I got to do it. I got to do it. And I just chug it down. And I swear to God, like, for 10 minutes, people are watching, waiting for me to puke. And I'm just sitting there in a chair, like, and I don't. I hold it down. I get the money. I stagger around the party. I drink some beers. I do whatever. I pass out. The next morning, I wake up, and I swear to God, I was dead. I swear, like, pounding headache, couldn't see straight, like, everything's blurry. I'm feeling for a pulse. I don't have one. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I'm already dead. I don't know how I'm moving around. Somebody kept me in the head. I'm a zombie.
You got me thinking about this time. Long time ago. I think I was just out of high school, still working at a bar and drinking after work sort of deal.
Yeah.
One of the waitresses there was having a drink. I remember getting into a conversation and something about being able to drink to the person under the table. Yeah, you never try to outdrink a French lady who, when she's finished her shift. Like, no.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Because the French grow up on drink. You know, so here's some wine.
Yep.
Oh, it's not just wine, and it's
No, I know.
It's the hard liquor.
It's like you're 6. Here's wine with dinner.
Mm-hmm.
They're like tempered.
When you're casually drinking hard liquor, that fucking that should have been my sign.
There's your warning. There's your warning right there. When she's just casually drinking hard liquor, like, I don't care if it's shots or out of the bottle, she's just like, pang, give me another one. There's your warning.
I
used to try to,
because like beer is like, everyone's drinking beer, and so beer after work, you know, you kind of, the first one's kind of easy, and like then you're having your second one because the first one's already gone.
Yeah.
And then you're already working your way to the third or fourth.
I gotta
beer,
be honest. Even as like a grown-ass man, because I learned my lesson, but as a grown man, when I would have like New Year's Eve parties at my house or whatever, just get-togethers, because we had a nice big house in the middle of nowhere, you could do whatever you wanted. I would tell people, before they even came in the door, like, drop your keys here and do me a favor, do not try to keep up with me or my brother. We drink.
Yeah.
We've been drinking.
Uh-huh.
We have a tolerance. You don't even try. And this one dude who was dating a friend of hers, he gives me like the Barney from How I Met Your Mother after I say this. He's like, challenge accepted, bro. And he's one of these like 22-year-old kids. You know, like I'm in my 30s. He's barely been drinking for 6 months. And I'm like, oh God, it's not a fucking challenge. It's a warning. Like, I'm trying to help you. Don't go there.
I have a challenge, and it's this is like, if people are stupid enough to lick toilet seats and eat Tide Pods, like, my challenge is, why don't you guys try doing the Lord of the Rings drinking game? Like, because honestly, if you even make it past the first fucking movie, and I'm saying watch the extended editions, of course, so like the 4-hour goddamn movies.
No, you know what else is a good one? You play the Blade game. You watch the original Blade, and every time he says fuck, you drink. You don't have to take a shot. You can have beers. But every time somebody says fuck in that movie, you drink. By the end of the 2-hour movie, you will be passed out drunk as fuck on the couch. They say the word fuck like 700 times. You're just...
Yep.
And Blade, the movie?
In the original Blade, yes. Hi, Uncie Keenan is here. Yay! We had...
What up, man?
We had one no-show, and Wendy got a call early. She had to pick up her husband. She was drinking water, so she had to bounce. So it's nice to have another person back in the Fox Den Tavern. We missed you. How's everything going? Work okay and everything?
Yeah, I'm literally that was my car door slamming. I'm like just getting home now.
Oh,
no.
Well, I appreciate you coming on the call, man. We certainly could use you right now.
No problem, man.
Yeah, we were just talking about like drinking games and movies. Like Aaron brought up Lord of the Rings. I was talking about Blade because the original movie, they say the word fuck like every other line in that movie. So if you sit there and take a drink of anything, just beer, you will be dead by the end of the movie.
See, I got Lord of the Rings now worked out with character sheets.
Think.
Like, where you let you drink when certain actions happen. Like, because I've played some other games before where it's like every time the fucking ring's on the screen, or anytime there's a panoramic scene, like, yeah, you'd be drinking every 2 seconds.
I got one that you would enjoy. I like the Cheech and Chong game where every time Cheech says "man," like you have to like poke one.
Nice.
That was like one of my favorites, yo.
You will be fucked.
Come on, man.
Oh, I hear Cheddar.
What are you doing, man?
Cheddar's like, Daddy's back.
Yeah, he's all hyped up.
And before that, we've been talking because I had actually gotten like a little bit of fame over the weekend with a pretty little lady at a coffee place, and she was trying to give extra too. She was like basically just bon appetit, give me the Sharon Stone leg cross. I know, you know, with you in comedy and all this other stuff, I know you've had to have that moment where somebody like recognizes you from somewhere.
All the time.
Have you ever had that moment where somebody just tries to go way above and beyond just that? Oh my God, it's you!
Yeah. Yeah.
Give us your best story.
I was at, where were we? I think we were in DC, and I went to like a little small, like little bodega corner store. Mm-hmm. And I was like sitting in my car, basically rolling up, and this dude was like, "Hey!" When I say he just ran up to the car.
He literally ran up on the car.
We were in Southeast. He was like, yo.
Like, yo, click.
Yeah. And he was, telling me how he's a big fan and stuff. And it's funny because he also apparently had followed me on Instagram. And he came to the show in DC, because he, so he was like, look, I just want to let you know, I was like, big fan and everything. And, I dig you. And I was like, oh, wow. But at the same time, I was really thinking like, okay, somebody's sneaking up from the other side of the window,
Right? Yeah. Like you're like, where's my pistol? I gotta.
Yeah.
I stay ready.
I've had a lot of good ones like that. I was at one of the Funny Bones, and the Funny Bone manager wanted to talk to me about, doing some business and stuff.
Right.
And this one lady, when I say she blocked the entire time, because, I'm trying to like shake hands and, try to be, meet the crowd and stuff. And this guy's sitting here waiting. I'm like, yeah, just give me 1 second. Let me just, finish being, being me and stuff. And he was just like, look, I got your information. We'll be in touch. And this whole lady, the whole time, she wanted to tell me every joke she's ever heard of.
No.
And she was drunk. Now, the thing was, this was the night I, like, killed it, yo. Like, I had clearly just was, like, the top dog of that night.
Right? Like, when you walk off stage.
Yeah.
Nailed it!
Yeah. And you don't get too many of those nights,
Mm-mm.
And so I was just like,
wait for that night when it happens.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God!
Yeah. So now they've been, that one was one of the ones that made me mad. So I had to start understanding it about the about, of course, you can't have the crowd hold you up forever,
Nah. But it was so weird, man. Like, I'm sitting there and like I said to Aaron, or Knucklehead, because now we got two, sorry. I'm sitting there, I'm drinking my coffee, I'm smoking a cigarette. I'm outside on the patio, and they got like tables 6 feet apart, keeping distance. And I go over to put my cigarette out in the ashtray, and this like 20-some-year-old girl just comes up, and she's looking at her phone, and then she's looking at me, and she keeps going back and forth. And all of a sudden I hear, "Oh my God, are you Dom?"
Yeah.
Like, what? And she was cool at first, just asking questions about the shows, because she watches all 3 of our shows on Fox Den Production at YouTube. She popped. And she was asking about the wrestling shows. She was asking me about geek stuff. She was asking me about this show and how I came up with, this and that and the other. And that was cool. And then I was about to say goodbye. She's like, "Do you really want to leave?" And she's got one of these like one-piece dresses on, and she turns out from the table and uncrosses her leg and recrosses, and she ain't wearing panties. And I was like, yeah, I really need to leave, because how I'm going to explain bringing you home to my wife while she's playing with my child.
Just say, "Hey, honey, look what I found."
I brought us home a snack.
Can we keep her?
But man, when I was telling the story at first, you should have seen the look on her face. It was just murder. Like dude, like chick that took my Kanye glasses was murder. I was like, don't cut the bitch. I swear to God, I don't even know where she lives. I ain't get her number, nothing. You can look at my phone here. It ain't even got a code. You can just unlock it.
That's funny.
Oh man, it was crazy. But yeah, I figured you would know that. And obviously, don't get me wrong, even that person, like, we love our fans, no matter where you are or who you are. But there's a line, like I don't want to sound like I'm a big deal or nothing. I'm just saying, when you try to do that to anybody that's out there, whether they're on YouTube, whether they're on a comedy stage or whatever, there's a line. Just try not to cross it. We don't want to hear like every joke you ever heard since you were 4. Yeah. I appreciate you trying to throw some stuff at me, but you see the ring. Like, come on now. Even then, in that moment, I'm looking up, like, I'm waiting for the world to freeze, and I would be like, "God, if you're listening, I was barely a C- student. I'm gonna fuck up 30-some% of the time."
Yeah.
And I ain't cheated on this woman once. Help me.
Well, like, I don't, I like the, people. I don't mind, people approaching and talking and stuff. It's just, I don't think people, people wait in line to tell you what they've been wanting to tell you the entire night.
Right.
So if you times that by a place that holds 500 people,
that's a lot of waiting.
That's a lot of them, yeah.
No, I get it, because I've been in that position too. Like, I've seen a comedian or somebody that I look up to here or there, and I want to run up and just and but in my mind, I know, like, they ain't trying to hear this shit. Like, they're a person too.
Yeah.
You don't know what kind of day they had. You just come up, you give them a little love, you get your autograph, you get your photo, whatever, and then you just walk off and say thank you, even though you want to do more, because that person has to meet like 500 other fucking people.
and on top of that, to take a selfie, that takes at least a minute. Like, right. So by the time you get your phone out, unlock it, hold it up, angle it, smile, get 1 or 2, You know, that's a long time. I never forget.
that's like 500 minutes right there.
Yeah. Dude,
They used to not include that in a cell phone plan back in the 90s.
Yeah. And I remember when we got to talk and hang out with Duncan Trussell, and his bus basically, I don't want to say it didn't break down, but the bus passcode, like the get on the tour bus, the button stuck, right? So
oh no.
The bus drivers basically are trying to, you know, there's like a hard rewire, not a hard rewire, but like a, you know, reboot to unlock everything. But the button itself, it was jammed. So while we were out there waiting, and you know, I'm just catching up when we went to see a show, but the amount of people that I had timed this one person, hi, how you doing? Autograph, here's my show, selfie, thank you for coming. And he had like, you know, a couple other people who were still, you know, kind of passing around. Then the drinks and all that. When I say it was longer than the show itself, it was longer than the show itself. Just to like meet and greet, just to like the autographs and who I make this out to, and when's your next guy.
And poor guy can't go nowhere anyway, so he's just gotta be
nowhere.
You know, okay, who wants a selfie? Who wants this?
Yeah, and I'm sure
probably
he was tripping acid.
Goddamn bus opener.
Yeah.
Oh no. So people that walk up. People that walk up are looking like a giant dick, and like the balls are opening, and they're like, "Can I get a selfie?" Oh, okay. Click.
It reminded me of like NASCAR, where like everyone's camped out, and then all of a sudden you go try to visit the NASCAR drivers, and like, you know, there's the one driver who will wait there from like early in the morning all the way till like late at night just to visit all his fans and make sure everyone gets a signature and shit.
Like
then there's other people who, like, you know, like will charge you $200 just to stand in line, and maybe you don't even get to see the person, you know?
Don't get me wrong. I know I'm not famous. I'm not saying that I am. But if it was like, if I had something set up where it was like, oh, come here and you can meet Dom. Yeah, I'm sticking around. I'm talking shit. I'm signing stuff. I'm taking selfies. I'm doing whatever. But this was just like randomly, I'm sipping coffee somewhere, smoking a cigarette, just like enjoying the fact that I don't have anybody around me for once.
Yeah.
Because I'm stuck with a kid all day, and then, you know, it's just been crazy with this whole quarantine. And I'm finally sitting somewhere, I'm like all by myself. It's like my first free time in honestly like 9 weeks. And all of a sudden this random girl just starts, oh, you're Dom. And at first, like, don't get me wrong, the whole thing was cool. But read the room. Like, I don't go anywhere without this ring. You see this ring? Yeah. But you know, there are those women out there that just see a ring and go, that's hot. And I feel like she was one of them women. There go the face again. You have nothing to worry about. Again, worst case scenario would have been, honey, I got us a present.
Oh man. Yeah, that would have been funny. It's funny because if all she had to do was just kind of act like she was missing a few chromosomes, she could have home free. So, yep, I got a nice place to stay. I get to sleep on the floor.
Oh no, if she was acting like that, I wouldn't even have told that story. Like, this slow chick was showing me her. No,
true.
That is not something you want to brag about. Tell stories about.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's an ego boost because, like, I'm as old as I've ever been, and I've been with her for like a billion years. So every now and then, it's nice for somebody to remind you, like, hey, you know, give you that like wrestling thing, like, you still got it.
Like the water cooler guy today.
Oh, for real? This is something I'm just learning about. Apparently, I have somebody to kill.
Every time he comes in, he's always like looking around and like, where is she? Where is she?
I bet she bent over. I bet that thong's hanging out her pants again.
Time to pull out Deadpool.
You got to go, homie. Sorry.
You had said something a few minutes ago about like signing autographs and paying for it. Like, how either you have to be super rich or super broke to do that. I feel like that's a hard in between, because Road Warrior, which one? Road Warrior Hawk is still alive, right?
Animal Hawk is
Animal. He was charging $200 for an autograph.
Are you shitting me?
Damn.
$200. It's
Well,
like, no, sorry.
it was like the autograph, the photo, the whole kind of like.
No, I know they have like
lineup.
8x10s, and they sign
Yeah.
it, and maybe they
I'm like-
personalize it, and they try to charge you something
Did he
after the
stay
fact.
for everyone? Did he stay for everyone who was in line though?
I'm not sure. Like once we heard the prices, we just kind of moved off.
If
Like
he's,
That
I'm like, how
straight up.
famous or how broke do you have to be?
I gotta
Like,
tell
what
you,
is that line?
Knucklehead, if he's charging that much for an autograph, that fucker is staying there for like 12 hours because he needs that money.
Yeah, that's.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Matt Kenseth was making a lot of fucking money when I went down there, but when I went down to Michigan, that guy was winning a lot of races and stuff. So, like, I don't know. It depends on the person, I think, because there were other drivers who didn't win as much who would just like.
Yeah.
Did he charge you for his autograph, or did you get it? I'm sorry.
No, I just kind of pulled a Keenan and walked away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
what's his name?
you gotta be very broke or very desperate to charge that much for an autograph.
Dude,
$200 to wait in the fucking line, and I don't think so.
Personally, somebody
Yeah,
asked
they gotta
me.
probably pay to get in, and all that stuff.
I don't really consider myself famous. So personally, somebody asked me for an autograph, I'm just gonna be like, here you go.
Yeah.
Or once they selfie, I'm like, okay, let's get in the picture. Like, hold up, cheers.
It's gonna be a matter of I pay like my money when I get the autograph, not a matter of I pay the money and then wait in the line and maybe I get an autograph.
Yeah.
No, fuck
that's
that.
messed up.
There are
Yeah.
some people that try to take that fame or that fame that they had, like with Road Warrior Animal. Like, this ain't 1992. Nobody remembers
you're like
you.
exactly. You're like out of it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Unless there are guys that are like 50, 60 years old in that line, nobody's paying $200 for your autograph.
Freaking
like, even
Gallagher.
Oh my god.
Gallagher charged.
Are you
me
sure it wasn't
20.
Gallagher 2? No.
Yeah, it was, or Black Gallagher. It was the original Gallagher.
A Black Gallagher, bitch.
He charged me 20. He charged me 20.
Really?
And I got a watermelon rhyme that I still have, but but he charged me $20 for a half
cool,
autographed T-shirt and a watermelon rhyme.
But $20, really? Oh man! Like I would like to think that Gallagher's not struggling because there's comedy specials.
Okay, so the only reason I did it was because one, it came on a shirt, and then the shirt was kind of cool.
Of course.
So, I was like, okay, I'll take that. And I mean, granted, I washed the shirt because I wanted to wear the shirt more than anything.
He washed the autograph off and was just like, oh yeah, I'm rocking the shirt.
Yeah, the autograph is still on it, though. Yeah, it's still on it.
Hey,
but I was just like, Gallagher? Like, dude, you were 80s HBO Max.
Right, because like, not for nothing, but like there are so many people that will just give you an autograph for free. Like when I was a kid, I used to go down to like Eagles training camp. And it didn't matter who was on the team. Like, I still have a football signed by, like, all the early 90s Eagles, including, like, Reggie White, Jerome Brown, whatever else. And nobody asked me or my parents for any money. They were just like, here you go.
Yeah,
and hand the football back. They found their spot. They signed it. I still have, and it's like a kid's medium, but it's like a Randall Cunningham jersey where he was number 12. He signed it right down the one while it was on my back, and he's like, you can't wear this anymore. I was like, I'm never gonna. Thank you. Like, and again, it wasn't like he looked at my mom and said, okay, that'll be $150. He just signed it. He said, you can never wear this again, and he walked away. That was that. And at the time, especially in Philly, that dude was a big fucking deal. So for Gallagher to charge you something, it's like, get the fuck out of here.
What's Randall Cunningham up to now? Is he coaching or something?
No, he's a pastor now, believe it or not.
Oh yeah, that's right, he is.
He had from last I remember, he had like a weird thing in his house where one of his kids had like drowned in the hot tub, and after that he found Jesus and became a pastor.
Yeah, but didn't he do something like that when he was playing football? Didn't he quit for like 2 years and then come back?
He did quit because basically nobody would give him a shot. So he quit, and he actually went and worked at like his brother's warehouse for 2 years. And then all of a sudden the Minnesota Vikings wanted him, and their quarterback got injured, and he had to come in. And that was the year like Randy Moss was a rookie, and Chris Carter was still like hot shit. And he lit the league up. They should have went to a Super Bowl if that fucking kicker didn't miss a field goal in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah. Was
it
that
would've
Morton
been
Anderson?
Gary Anderson. I'm
Gary
sorry.
Anderson.
Gary
Okay.
Anderson. It would have been Vikings and Broncos instead of Falcons and Broncos. And
They would have whipped our ass.
because the Vikings, yes, the Vikings had beat the Broncos that year like 49-17. They like
Yeah, we were old and slow at the time.
and instead it was the Falcons and the Broncos ended up beating them, which was like, okay, cool. Because my mom was happy. That was her favorite team. But it should have been Vikings, and Randall should have a Super Bowl.
And not only that, but like I remember we also dodged a bullet the previous year because that was the year like the Jaguars were just were lighting people up.
The
And
expansion
then we had
teams
dodged.
came in, and both of them went to the conference championship.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, the Jags. I was legit afraid to play the Jags that year.
Oh God, yeah.
Because I was like, yo, Mark Brunell was just was running and throwing, yo.
And
Those
they
boys
had,
was nasty that year.
I remember they had like Natron Means fat ass in the backfield, and he was just bowling everybody over. Had like 1,300 yards that year, like 15 touchdowns. I was like, damn.
Dang.
His name was Natron Means. And Chris Berman used to just every time he got the ball, he was like, Natron means business. You know?
Back.
Yeah. What? I miss Berman. I think I was all.
Yo, I missed that whole NFL Sunday. Like,
yeah.
what was that? The Sunday Countdown or something like that.
It was
right?
like, it was NFL prime time.
Prime time,
like
yeah.
Berman and Tom Jackson. They every now and then they'll put that back on, but they'll tell you got to watch it on ESPN Plus, which means you got to pay for it just to watch it. And it's like, you got a whole network for this shit. Put it on there. Like, I pay my cable bill. Put it on ESPN.
Yeah.
Yeah, that pisses me off. But oh, excuse me. Yeah, we had been talking about like trying to add some infamous drinkers to like the Drunk Upon a Time Hall of Fame, and because at the moment there's one member of the Drunk Upon a Time Hall of Fame, and that man is Charlie Sheen, and we know he loves to party, so we got to get some people up in there with him.
Yeah. Is he still about that life, or he kind of slowed down? You don't really hear much from him anymore.
You don't really hear much, so I'm guessing
he probably got COVID.
Probably. I don't know. Tiger Blood, I think, fights COVID, but I'm not sure. I'm not a doctor. I'm just guessing. He definitely slowed down. Like, you haven't heard much from him in a couple of years now.
Yeah.
When we first started this show, that was the whole thing after he left 2.5 Men. He started with the winning and the Tiger Blood, and he was doing all that crazy shit. And I was like, you know what? That motherfucker needs to be in the Drunk Upon Time Hall of Fame. Because not only is he crazy and loves to party, but if you think about it, 2.5 Men, he had a drink in his hand every episode, almost all episode for like 10 years. So
wow, I didn't notice that. I never got into the 2.5 Men. Like, I have this weird thing about CBS shows. Like, if it appeared on CBS, I'm like, just.
It was
I don't
on
know.
CBS. You're like, no.
Yeah, I just don't. Minus King of Queens. That was like the only show on CBS I really liked.
Oh yeah.
Everything else, I'm like, I just don't like CBS. And
we all have our like blind spots, though. It's like, I can't do a show with Tracy Morgan in it. I don't know why. When it comes to comedy,
you can't do one thing with Tracy Morgan.
Nope. Hell no.
You must not want to get pregnant.
Like, I can't. Like, even 30 Rock was like a good show, but when Tracy Morgan showed up, I was like, I'm done. I love him as a comedian, but I just can't get into his TV shows. I don't know why. But you know, everybody's got their blind spots when it comes to that kind of stuff, like CBS shows, Tracy Morgan shows. You know.
You actually bring up something though. I just remembered something I was going to ask earlier.
Okay.
How many times do I have to buy something before it's enough? And I'm just curious because I've tried not pirating as much as possible, and I try supporting the movies that I like as much as I can. But let's just say, for the sake of it, if you've already seen something on, let's say, Netflix or previously at the theater or at a show at a friend's house, like.
Oh, you're asking like how many times you have to pay for it before you can finally say it's mine?
Well, that's a good question.
That's kind of the thing, and it's because like I know I've bought Star Wars on DVD, Blu-ray. My parents had bought it on VHS.
I had it on VHS.
Yeah.
I bought it on the
I had
Sony
it on
PlayStation.
Betamax.
PlayStation
you.
has its own little thing. Now,
Mhm.
if I wanted
Even,
to use a iPad, I'd have to use, or an Apple product, I have to pay
you
on
gotta
there
buy it
too,
again.
I suppose. Like,
'Cause, like,
it doesn't
we have-
just translate over. Like
Oh
if
yeah,
you were to
'cause,
go
like,
and fucking buy a CD and
my phone is Android, and they have Google Play, so you can buy movies there. But if I have like my iPad, I gotta buy it again, and it's like, wait, I just bought it over here. You mean tell me I gotta buy
Yes.
it over here? They're like, yep. And so okay, so then I try to get it to play on my TV, and it's like, nope, not compatible, not gonna happen. You gotta buy a digital copy or something. Like, really? I gotta buy it 3 times to watch it again? Like, eventually at that point, I'm like, fuck it, let's find a pirated version. I don't give a fuck.
Well, and that's kind of where I was trying to
I
justify
will
certain
give
things.
you.
Like,
I'm gonna answer your
I
question.
totally get the copyright thing, but
No,
like,
of
because
course.
in terms of like who owns what particular rights, I get all that stuff. But let's just say, for the sake of like, I don't know, economy and not money, but saving on data. Like, do I want to
Right.
be fucking paying to what, or to have
No,
to just like continually stream this fucking movie, or do I just
No,
have
I
it
get
the,
it.
like
I'm gonna
the one time and
I'm gonna
watch
go
it as much as
ahead.
you
I'm
want?
gonna answer this question for you. I will pay for it twice. If I go see it in the theater, that's one. If I get it somewhere else, whether it be Blu-ray, digital, put it on my iPad, put it on my phone, whatever, that's twice. After that, all bets are off because I already gave you twice. You know, and movies these days, they ain't well, not these days because there are no movies, but movies back before this, they were not fucking cheap. So it's like, all right, I paid for it in the theater. I bought
That's
whatever else.
$17.
I bought whatever else. Like, I bought the digital copy for like 10, 12 bucks. I paid like $18 in the theater to watch it, or 34 to 36 because the wife's coming with me.
Yeah.
So at that point, once we get past 2, I'm done, and I'm trying to find a free copy because I've already put like $30-$40 into you. I'm not trying to go any further than that. Like,
the best,
maybe if I
I
get a
don't know.
little more money in my life, I might give you 3. But right now, you get 2.
At the same time, though, like, should you start, like, as an individual, saying my opinion matters, and like start making a list of who you think in the particular mediums you think actually deserve, or like
I'll be honest,
who
man.
you'd like to endorse?
I think it's a
Like,
viewing.
That's a good way to look
I
at
gotta
it.
be honest, and y'all can disagree if you want, but I think it's like a viewing public. You got to be able to say enough is enough, because it's like, I used to be able to watch this shit on Netflix. Oh well, thanks to Disney purchasing this and blah blah. Now it's on Hulu or Disney Plus, and you don't have that, so now you got to buy that to watch the shit that you were already watching on Netflix and paying for. It's like, why?
Meanwhile, they done
already
swapped
paying and watching
writers
it.
out.
Like, I'm sorry, what'd you say, homie?
I said, meanwhile, they done swapped writers out, and then the show's integrity is now messed up, and it's not even what you.
Even if it's not like anything new, like, you used to be able to get all the MCU movies on Netflix, most of them, and now they're slowly taking them off Netflix, moving them over to Disney Plus, which I get because it's your shit. But at the same time, if I could watch them there and I was paying my bill, why do I have to turn around and pay you now to watch the same shit I already paid for to watch? How many
You know
times
how the ending's gonna
pay
be.
to watch the same shit? Like,
Yeah.
I love the MCU movies, most of them, and I will pay and watch them like on demand on whatever. But why do I have to pay so many streaming services? Because, oh well, now it's off this, but it's on this one, or it moved from here to here, so now you got to go there, and maybe I don't have that one, so now I got to pay for that one too. Like,
I think the
fuck
most
all that.
heartbroken thing I ever was when Stargate SG-1 was no longer available on Canadian Netflix. It just, it broke me.
Oh yeah, it's not available here either, as far as I know, because I used to watch
really?
that show. Yeah,
Huh.
it disappeared one day, and I don't know where it went. It just poof, like Kathy just did in the frame there. She just poof. Goddamn backgrounds.
She got Thanos snaps?
Oh man, I don't know if she's famous, but that water cooler guy must think she's famous. He's like, where is she? Where is she? Where is she? I need to ask you questions. What size bra do you wear? I'm ordering online.
I am taking data research on everybody who has a bra named Cafe.
How faithful have you been to your husband? This is for research purposes.
Yeah. We're conducting a study.
It's like meanwhile I'm outside in the car with like the kid in the car seat and a gun in my hand, like, come on, motherfucker. But no, it's true. Like, there's so many times where they expect you to pay for the same thing or the same thing, and you're like, eventually you're just like, all right, I think I paid enough. So you know what? I'm gonna see if I can find this on like a torrent site or Plex or whatever the case may be, whatever you like, because I've already paid you 2-3 times over. I'm already paying my monthly bill, and you moved it. That's not my bad. That's you. Like, I'm not paying extra for the same shit I could get for $9.99 a month. Like, you can kiss my ass.
And you know what's crazy?
Go
ahead.
The actors, after a certain amount of time, as far as syndication and rebuying, they don't even get paid any more money. So once they hit their cap, they're already paid, but other people still get paid, and they'll get a small percentage fee after a while. Like, but that's it. It's really like not as fair as you would think.
That money doesn't go. By the way, that money does not go. Most of it does not. If any of it does not go to like the actual talent in the movie.
Yeah.
It goes to like the production team. It goes to the studio. It goes to wherever. It doesn't go to the people who are actually in the movie that made it good.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
it goes to the craft service table guy.
Right. I'm not saying that like producers and directors or whatever aren't talented and don't have their part or whatever, but like, if you're gonna take all this money, maybe you ought to throw it a little bit at the actors who are actually in it.
Anybody can make can put Chris Hemsworth in something and then consider themselves a director.
Yeah, but you had to have a fucking Whedon to weave together a goddamn Avengers universe that stuck.
In this episode alone, we've already established that you need to bring back smoking sections, because if a fucking virus is just going to show up, it's going to attack your respiratory system.
Smoking section.
Yeah.
I can smoke wherever I want, because nobody can smoke on planet Earth, and we got a virus killing your respiratory system. So smoking's back in. Weed is legal in all 50 states. Number 2.
Oh,
number 3
is it?
No, I'm saying in the new world after the virus, this is what needs to happen. Because we broke that down. I was like, okay, you're talking about like how I can't smoke in a restaurant or anywhere because you need to worry about your lungs. But then you run around like a jackass and catch coronavirus, and what does that shit attack? Your lungs. So if you're so worried about your goddamn lungs, how come you're not staying home or wearing a mask or doing whatever the fuck you need to do to protect them? Therefore, it doesn't matter whether I smoke or not, because you don't give a shit about your lungs either. So from now on, when all this shit is over, I'm gonna smoke wherever the fuck I want. And if you wear a mask, and if you did wear a mask and you did follow the precautions, we're gonna give you a card like the essential workers. And if you hand it to me, I will walk away with my cigarette.
like Joaquin Phoenix in the Joker.
Right. I will gladly just say, okay, thank you for trying to keep this pandemic at bay, and I will walk away and I will smoke my cigarette someplace else. But if not, I'm just smoke wherever the fuck I feel like, because nobody seems to give a shit about their lungs when it comes to a virus that attacks your respiratory system. So you don't give a shit about secondhand no more. Cool. And weed is included. If I'm walking down the street smoking a joint, oh well. I'm sure it would do my wife a world of good. Although I think one of the last times she smoked weed, she tried to run from the cops and rip the ass out of her pants. and she was wearing a thong that night.
Yep.
And nobody told her. It was hilarious.
That was the first time I smoked weed.
Was that the first time? Wow. Okay. First time running from the cops, ass hanging out. Nobody says a word. I'm sure everybody was too busy staring. Just, damn. She was like, I wondered why I was getting so much attention that night.
And how come I can smell my farts?
What are you talking about? Women don't fart.
Oh, that's right. Just like Kim Jong Un.
Never. Women never fart. If I shake my head any harder just to say yes, it will come off. By the way.
Is Chris here?
Is he? I didn't see anybody come in. If he's here, I'd love to have him on. I don't see him. I'm looking. He got me all nervous now. I don't see him. Yeah, it's just us.
False alarm.
Damn you, Aaron. I mean, knucklehead, because there's two Aarons. Fuck! This is not something I can keep straight after all these beers. Oh, but it's fun anyway. Yeah, I'm trying to think. We had some other stuff. We did our Idiots of the Week. I don't even know if Uncie Keenan has one because he didn't have a whole lot of time.
Yeah, I didn't really get a chance to think of any.
I mean, I had brought in the one we were talking about, the TikTok thought that decided to lick the goddamn toilet.
Oh, I want to say that you posted that thumbnail in the view thing, and I have to say, for the duration of this week, I didn't watch the video, but it just looks like with her tongue sticking out or whatever, it looks like she's giving head to something.
Yeah, she is. It's a toilet seat.
It just didn't seem worth clicking on.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of gross, I don't see how.
It's beyond gross. Like, I've seen some women do some nasty shit, and that is above all the nastiest shit.
It's funny. Like, I've watched Two Girls, One Cup at least 3,000 times, and I still don't think that was as gross as her licking that toilet seat. That's just where I draw the line.
It's gross, but both of them make me cringe. But thought licking the toilet seat. And she can talk about how that toilet was clean anyway. Oh, bullshit. Like, it was on a private plane with my sugar daddy, and yeah, I bet you anything nobody's wiped that damn toilet seat in like 20 years.
Oh gosh.
Because that fool's got a catheter anyway. I love her. She's just back here like,
I'm flagging.
Already?
Yeah.
So, half a glass of wine. I'm done. I'm white girl wasted. Here's my boobs.
I am on medication too. So.
I know.
That's not good.
She got them pills in her system, and then she throws that alcohol on top, and it's just woo.
Having a drink once in a while is okay.
The last episode, she finished off like an entire small bottle of this wine that I bought her, and I knew she was feeling it when she started like coming out of her clothes, like the cardigan's coming off, and she's sitting here like, "Oh, I'm hot. Are you hot? I'm hot." I was like, "Oh shit! If she gets any drunker, she's gonna turn into party animal and start like running around just grabbing random fat man's boobies and shaking them because that happened." No, I'm not even kidding. We had a party at her house, and she had been drinking some shit that I kind of made up off the top of my head because I had random liquor sitting around. She was like, I'm out of alcohol. Can you make me anything? I was like, sure. I look in the liquor cabinet. I find like Kahlua and Bailey's. And I'm like, all right, you're going to get Dom's darkness. So I just start pouring in this cup. And it's all liquor. And she had already been drinking. She drinks like 6 cups of this shit. And she's just gone. And my buddy Ben at the time, well, still, is a rather large man. We're talking like 350 pounds. Like, he's a big dude. And he's not in shape. He's just a big dude. And he's been drinking we're all wasted. He's trying to pass out on this big chair that I had in my house with like a big padded footstool.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like laid out, like head in the bottom of the chair, feet on the footstool, and he's like half unconscious. She comes running up behind him, jumps in a chair with him and says, "I'm gonna jiggle that fucking man tit," and just starts reaching for him, and he's trying to fight, and now all of a sudden it's turned into something that's almost rapey because he's like, "No, don't grab my titties." She's like, "Fuck that, give me that man tit," and she just reaches over, grabs it, and just starts jiggling it in front of everybody, like shirt was on, thank God, because who wants to see that when you're drunk? But she's got two hands on this guy's like man breast, and she's bouncing him up and down, and his face is bright red. If I look around here somewhere, I got a picture of that night. I swear to God. It was crazy. I was like, honey, I think no means no. Do you want to unhand that man booby while you're at it?
Well, on that note.
Yeah, I guess it's almost that time to end. We're getting deep, and this show was definitely it started out a little weird. Like, obviously we had some no-shows, we had some people bouncing in the middle, and it's like, oh shit, what are we gonna do now? But I think we recovered nicely. So I want to thank everybody that did show up. I'm hoping we get Chris back next week. I don't know what's going on with that dude. And in the meantime, we want to invite you to come, join us at the Fox Den Tavern and ask for drunken advice or give us some drinking games, or just ask us, oh, you got a story about this? Maybe we do. Maybe we'll use it on the show. In order to do that, you'd have to come follow us on Twitter, because that's pretty much the only social media we got right now, and that's you can follow us at Drunk Upon the Time and on Twitter, and ask us if we have stories about this. If you need drunken advice, just come on and say, hey, follow me back. I gotta tell you about what's going on, and we'll message on the low. I'll keep your name or whatever out of it. We'll just talk about it, and you can see it on the show. So follow us there. You can find this show and a few others on our production company page, which is anchor.fm/FoxDen for podcasts. One word too for Fox Den. Don't capitalize it. Don't put any spaces. Nothing. You'll see all our platforms popping up. I'm working on more. Obviously, since we have a video, if you don't know, you can find us also on YouTube at Fox Den Productions. If you search for it, the page will pop up. You'll see this show. You'll see Mutant Rejects. You'll see Top Rope Wrestling Talk. It's a lot of entertainment in one place, no matter where you go, whether it's the podcast platforms or our YouTube page. It's a lot of stuff. There's some exclusive content on the YouTube page. It's fun. Come check us out. Come subscribe, follow us, give us some comments, give us, ask for drunken advice, do whatever you got to do. And in the meantime, for the Stone Knucklehead, my homeboy Uncle Keenan, my lovely wife Kathy, I'm your boy Dom, and hopefully we will all be back next week. If I gotta drag motherfuckers in here,
we'll have water cooler guy on the next episode.
oh no, we'll be burying water cooler guy on the next episode. Because my face don't change. I act like, oh yeah, I'm in a good mood, dead. So anyway, y'all, have a good weekend.
All right,
responsibly. We love y'all. Peace.
Later.